I have a theory about why Hex was going up when you got in. That must have been because the 1 year anniversary of Bitcoin peaking was just a little bit over a year ago, maybe by a couple weeks. And then in a couple weeks from now is the anniversary of when Hex peaked, I think. And so the reason why Hex could have kept doing so well there, other than reflexivity, which is like if the price goes up, then people want to buy it more. And so then the price keeps going up until the bubble crashes. But everybody, I think, not everybody, I think a lot of people in the Hex community had attached onto this idea that Hex could do the same thing that Ethereum did. It wasn't a promise that anybody made to anybody else, but it was like, it was really well known that that's what Hex was designed to do. Hex was designed to do a 10,000x in 2.5 years. And that's part of the reason why Hex was so controversial actually until now, and probably beyond now. Like, a lot of people don't like Hex because people were saying that it could do a 10,000x in 2.5 years like Ethereum did. That was, people automatically like treated it like a scam just because people were saying this is that it could be this successful as something else that had come before. And like that was too much for people. And so, but there were people who believed in that. And so if you look at when people time locked, a lot of people set their Hex time lock to come out right around like 2 years, because they wanted to front run the 2.5 year call. And so what ended up happening is, when you like look back, nobody was thinking like that it would happen in 1.8 years. And so there was a lot less Hex that was coming out of time locks at the 1.8 year mark. And so that in that month between when, or whatever it was, the number of weeks between when Bitcoin peaked and when Hex peaked, you had a much smaller supply of Hex available at that time. And that's what Hex is designed to do. And so it just shows you like how crazy Richard Hart's like timing luck was in terms of like when he launched Hex and all that good kind of stuff. But it's really interesting to me that it kind of makes sense in my own mind that if Hex was going to do a 10,000x, that it would have done that, like maybe before, maybe 1.8 years in. And I think that people had even set limit orders to sell a bunch of Hex at 10,000x, because Hex just like bounced right off of the 10,000x mark and didn't stay there for very long at all, for like maybe a few minutes or something. So,
oh wow. So yeah, that's interesting. So you're saying that, so the people set limit orders based on Richard's price target. Maybe Richard should have said 20,000x or 30,000x. That would have happened.
And if you had time locked Hex from day 3 to day, and I did not do this, by the way, but I do a lot of calculations from day 3, because I know that people could get in at that time, because I put in like $100 at that time or something. And also because there actually wasn't a price for a T-share until like day 3 or something, if you go back in some of the stats that people publish. So but if you had done a time lock from day 3 to day 656, you would have, from the interest that you were paid and from the big payday and from early end stake penalties and everything, you would have actually been sitting at about an 18,000x.
Oh my gosh, that's insane.
Yeah.
Yeah.